Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. And if this is the very first time you are seeing me on this platform, my name is Ielts Bishop, and I'll be taking you on Ielts to make sure you pass your examination. And I would implore you to click on my subscription, on my like button, my notification, and also every button you see, even on Facebook, TikTok. Just follow my page and you have a smooth ride in your IELTS journey. All right, today we are going to be looking at IELTS Academic Task 1. And what is IELTS Academic Task 1? IELTS Academic Task 1 is a type of writing in IELTS where you are expected to deal with a lot of visuals. It can be one visual in an exam. It can be a combination of two visuals. Then you are expected to write this, finish this task within 20 minutes and nothing more than that. Within this time, you are expected to summarize these visuals, which can be pie charts, bar charts, line graphs, maps, and these diagrams are represented as well with data, figures, just to show you how something is progressing or something is depreciating. Now, if you have this kind of task, what you're expected to do is to write it in 4 paragraphs. The paragraph 1 is supposed to be your introduction. And what is your introduction going to do for you? Your introduction is going to be the question itself. Question rephrased, question paraphrased. The introduction, you look at the question prompt. Just like we have here, can you look at this question here? You look at this question prompt. This one we have here is actually the question. You are meant to paraphrase or paraphrase by using synonyms. Paraphrase this question prompt by using synonyms. If you cannot use synonyms, what do we mean by synonyms? Synonyms are words that means another word that means the same thing with the given word you are seeing in your question. You either use synonyms to paraphrase, or you change the form of that sentence in order to drive the same meaning, because the whole essence of the introduction or paraphrasing is to say these things in another way but meaning the same thing. So that is the introduction and the whole task. In the whole task, you are expected to write not more than 150 words. And I usually tell my students, if you are doing this, you need to look at these paragraphs, which are 4 paragraphs that you are expected to write on, as each one should give you around 40 words. It means that introduction that we're discussing now should be around 40 words, should be around that. So based on this introduction, this is the point where you discuss the visual itself. If it's a table, if it's a pie chart, you talk about the unit of that visual, the unit of which the visual was described or is described. You talk about the unit, you talk about years, figures can come in here, and the rest of them. In fact, you actually bring out the question again back to the examiner, but in a different form, in saying the same thing but in a different way. All right, so having said this, we can look at this question. We will still come to the rest of them. We can look at this question and deal with the introduction. But before we do that, let's look at the instruction, the task ahead, because whatever you do, you need to meet this task. The question says, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. And there's a comma. Just note the comma. That comma means that there's a conjunction. Yeah. This comma means that we have two ideas that are being brought together, and it means that you are going to answer this question. The first one says, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. What this one is trying to tell you is you deal with introduction and overview. We'll still come to the overview. So let's deal with this first part of the question first. Now, we are looking at the chart. They said paraphrase. Thank God I've done this question. I'm going to bring out, as you can see, I'm going to bring out this introduction so that we can look at it with the question prompt side by side. This will enable us to know what we are saying. So if you look at this question prompt and the answer, I said introduction is here. In the question prompt, I said, okay, this is the diagram. Before you do your introduction, you must look at this diagram in order to see if there are things you will bring out yourself. You will also derive, you will also tab, or you also extract from this introduction. Okay, now if you look at this, the question prompt said the chart below shows the value of one's country's exports in various categories during 2015 and 2016. Look at what I did here. I said the bar chart describes. If you watch the below, I did not say below or on top, because in your exam you are not going to see the diagram on your answer script. Therefore, there's nothing to refer to below or above. You just go on and answer your question without paraphrasing whether it's below or whether it's above. Now, if you look at the chart here, I say the bar chart. The reason why I say the bar chart is because I looked at this. It's not just a chart. It's not just a pie chart. It's not a pie chart, but it is a bar chart or bar graph. Now, I looked at this. I actually looked at this visual, and I noticed that it's not just a chart. I have seen that it is a bar graph or a bar chart. So I went back to my introduction to say that this is the bar chart describes. Why did I use the word describes? Because there's a word here that says shows, and I said describes. Okay, the next one said the value of one's country's exports in various categories during 2015 and 2016. Instead of saying the value of one country's export, what is the value of the export? The value of the export was the sales they made in billions. Why did I say it's in the sales they made in billions? They said export earnings and is in billions. Okay, I can as well use the value of what is the value? The value is the value of something, like the value of my wristwatch is the worth of it in terms of money. So I actually said in $1 billion. Watch what I said. So instead of saying the value, I said describe the billions. The billions dollars. Dollars is there. I didn't say US dollars. I didn't say Canadian dollars. Please do not say US dollars, because it's not. I was even surprised to see that Zimbabwe uses dollars as well. So so many people are using dollars. So don't come and tell them it's US dollars, because you're going to get it wrong. So it's actually dollars made by a nation. If you watch it, they say made by a nation, and the question prompt says the value of one country's export in various categories. So I'm actually saying the same thing in a different. Cooking the egg and frying the egg, all of them are just egg, and they will give you protein. So that's exactly what I did. I said the bar chart describes if you watch the shows, and I said describes, you should make sure that it is also in the singular verb. Shows and describes, all saying the same thing, but the S and S must be there. All right. So billions made by a nation in exporting different kinds of items in 2015. So different kinds of items now is standing for various categories. Exports in various categories. The exports are actually the items or the products in various categories. I can as well different products in 2015 and 2016. I can as well say that, but I decided to use items. Reason being that I know that somewhere, somehow, I'm going to be needing the services of products. So I use items first in the introduction. So 2015, 2016. Another thing happens here. They talked about the table. Watch here. They said the table here, the table is making a comparison. The table shows the percentage change in each category of export in 2015. They are now talking about export again, and they are mentioning 2016 and 2015. I don't need to mention it two times because whatever I'm saying, I'm actually talking about these 2 years in question. So see what I did. I said, while the table, actually, if you look at the table, before you talk about the table, if you look at the table here, we have percentage change in values, 2015, 2016. Now, it's telling us the comparison. When you compare what happened between these 2 years, for the petroleum product, it's 3% and, blah, 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 blah. Then, everybody has its own comparisons. So what it means is that if you look at this graph here, if you look at this graph if you look at petroleum product from this 2015, which is the black bar, to the gray bar, it means that it increased, the export value increased from 60 billion to about more than 60 billion. So if you watch the engineered goods, it means that the export was less than 60 billion or more than 50 billion, and it increased to a bit more than 60 billion in 2016. So they have 8.5%. You can see the difference, the trends, and the trends, the changes that have happened in this stuff so far. And remember, be mindful of the tenses you use, because this thing has happened 2015 and 2016 is past tense. Therefore, you should be careful when you are analyzing or not analyzing, because if you analyze, it means you are going too far in the body paragraph. When you are actually comparing them, you should compare them as things that have happened in the past, while the table compares the changes in percent as per each product in the given periods. I did not start mentioning 2015, 2016. So that's the introduction. If you look at this, in billions, I said in dollars. In dollars, I don't need to mention, because when I was talking about the introduction, I said units are important. Units. But in this case, I've already used the units, because some introduction, you might say the unit in the unit was in dollars. But this one, I've already used the unit there. Even the percentage, I've already mentioned it. So once we mention percent, we know it's percent. So that's the introduction. The next thing we're going to talk about is the overview. In the overview, please, the overview is just a summary, and it's going to look at the main features. It will look at the main features, the trends, the significant features, main features, that's it. The development, the changes, the trends, changes, development, what have you. These are the things in Ielts task 1. We have the part that is called, we have the type that is called process. In that kind of question, you are going to be dealing with stages, because in process we have stages of production, stages of something happening. So the overview will deal with the stages, the major stages. So that's what the overview should be like. No figure should be in the overview, and it's going to be the summary of everything. Now, in this case, if you look at this diagram here, I want you to note that this table was actually derived from this bar chart. So the table is not different. So you need to understand when the the visuals are different from each other. If they are completely different, we're going to discuss it as if they are different, but they are not different. So because they are, the table is a derivative of the bar graph, I'm not going to talk about it like it's entirely a different thing. So let's look at the overview that I did, and the overview should be a summary. Now, highlighting that, the overview, so that we'll discuss this overview, and let's see if you would have a very good understanding. Now, in the overview here, watch, I said in brief. You can also say overall. It can be seen that the highest amount of monies were made consistently. I said were made. Remember, this happened in 2015 and 16. Were made consistently from petroleum sales and that of mechanical goods when compared to the rest of the product categories. Now, if you look at this overview, it did not start talking about something that happened in the table. The table, the bar graph, the table is just part of it. So I did not discuss it differently. Now, I said it can be seen that the highest amount of monies were made consistently from the petroleum sales and that of mechanical goods. What do I mean by mechanical goods? I know it sounds like it's not part of it. It's just a synonym I used. Engineered goods is the same as petroleum goods. Mechanical goods. I think the petroleum can also serve as the petroleum product can as well be fossil oil, but that's, by the way, we can still come to that. What did I use here? Petroleum sales. Okay, fine. So this is what the overview is, and your overview is going to be just short to tell the examiner, this is. If you watch this, it means that in this overview, it means that I'm going to highest amount of monies were made consistent for petroleum sales and that of mechanical goods. It means that one paragraph is going to deal with petroleum sales and mechanical goods. Why? Because the mechanical goods and petroleum sales are those ones that the country got a lot of money from. Look at it now. These petroleum products and engineered goods, their own bar are at the top. It means that the billions that came to that country are actually, we had quite a lot of monies coming into inflows coming into this country. So we are going to discuss these two gentlemen together. We're going to discuss them together and discuss these two guys here. We'll discuss them together. You see? We'll discuss them together. And then we'll discuss this the rest of the three together. So these two guys, petroleum and engineered, are going to form the body paragraph 1. Or if I like, I can discuss it in body paragraph 2. But just me, since this is the first one, I'll discuss it in body paragraph 1. Then and go to body paragraph 2 and discuss the gems and jewelry, agricultural products, textiles. I'll discuss them together. But then, if you look at, someone might even say, my overview can be different thing. You can look at it and the overview can mean another thing for you. Now, if you look at this table, we have the arrow pointing upwards for 4 items, but it is the reverse for gems and jewelry. Now, for me, I will not like to discuss gems alone and jewelry alone, because they will not give me something to compare. It's just them alone. For that reason, I will look for a way to have, because in every overview, you need to split the whole question, the whole diagram, the whole visuals into two groups. Either these ones are going to the north and the other ones are going to the south. You discuss the northern part differently from the southern part. So whatever you intend to do, but you need to have 2 groups. So my own 2 groups here is the highest ones that gave that country much money, and the lower ones that didn't give much money, although some of them gave as much as they could, but not as highest as petroleum and engineered goods. So having said that, this is actually what I did in my overview. Very, very brief, as the name implies. Overview, summary, that's what it is. You can say in summary, you can say overall. These things are in Ielts website. You can go there, you see where they discussed overview, and they will tell you can use in brief, overall, in summary. Just go ahead and summarize that. Okay, now let me look at body paragraph 1. Body paragraph 1. Because in body paragraph 1, what are we expected to do? We are expected to bring either the two gentlemen that are in the highest position, discuss them together. Yes. And go to the body paragraph 2 and discuss another group of people, or another group of whatever people, or you can call it people. I just use anything familiar as long as it makes me to, it's always good to make the question look so familiar to you. IELTS is not difficult. They want you to pass the exam. It's a language, just like you speak your language. All right. So let's see this on the overview. The body paragraph 1. And this body paragraph 1 is going to target petroleum and mechanical. See what it says. On the highest inflows with positive slopes. What do I mean? I'm using this as a discuss marker. I'm using it as a guide to bring in my point, to tell the examiner, oh, this is the people I'm going to talk about. Because I've already told the examiner that the highest amount. So me saying now, on the highest inflows with positive slopes. Now it tells the examiner, it's the highest income and it has a positive slope. It means that it moved up consistently from 2015 to 2016. It appreciated. Okay, so on the highest inflow with positive slopes, as a fossil oil export, we are about $60 billion in 2015, and there was a little above that figure following the next year, which of course was calculated to be at 3%. Let's look at this. If you look at this diagram, you will understand what I'm saying. Just look at the diagram. The diagram is there showing you. It says, on the highest, if you look at this diagram now, it says the fossil oil export were about $60 billion in 2015. If you watch it, the black bar is was around, that's in the past, 60 billion in 2015. And there was a little above that figure following the next year. What do I mean by the next year? The next year after 2015 is actually 2016. So if you count 15, the next one is 16. So the next year of 8, following that little above that, if you watch the bar, it was little above 60 billion dollars. So, and it was calculated to be at 3%. That was why I said there's no need for you to bring out the table to discuss the table differently, because the table is actually saying what is happening inside the bar graph. All right. I continue to say, meanwhile, why I say meanwhile, because this second one, the engineered goods, almost follow the same pattern with the petroleum. So I said, meanwhile, engineered goods, in the first one, in the overview, I said mechanical. Now I called it engineered. The engineered goods were not able to attract the same monetary value as that of crude oil. But now I'm using a compound sentence. But we'll talk about that later. But we're reasonably above $50 to $60 billion between the two given years, at a difference of 8.5%. Now, you can see, I talked about 2 given years at a difference of 8.5%. Remember, I said it's a positive slope. So, the 8.5% is not on the negative part. So it means I've talked about this body paragraph 1. So let's talk about body paragraph 2. Let me pull that quickly. Okay, now, yes, I got it. Copy and paste. Yeah. Okay, now if you look at this body paragraph 2, it says on the lower. Please look at this graph. Look at the graph in the slide. Look at it. It's displayed there. I said on the lower inflows. On the lower inflows, that the gems and jewelry, these guys are on the lower part. Agricultural products, lower part. Textiles on the lower part. So I said on the lower inflows. Inflows is just the money coming in. Agricultural products and the textiles. See, and I'm discussing agricultural product and the textiles. So you need to organize yourself, because why I'm discussing these agricultural products and textile itself, both of them, is that in jewelry, gems and jewelry had a negative slope. So I don't want to bring it in with the rest, because the other ones had positive slope as well. Agriculture and textile had a positive slope, although it might be small, but it was significant, like that of textile. If you watch the textile bar, it moved its 15.24%. So there was a great change, although they were still on the lower side. So on the lower inflow, agricultural products and the textile both appreciated. They both appreciated, yes. When compared between the periods, which periods are we talking about? 2015 and 2016. I said when compared. Now I'm using the word compared. The only time it was used was in the question. When compared, okay, when compared between the periods at 0.81% and 15.24% respectively, it means that for agriculture is 0.81. When I say respectively, for textile it is 15.24 respectively, and earning less than $40 billion. If you watch it, they are less than 40 billion. So it tells the person who is listening to you what is actually happening here. And but then I said, however, watch this. However is also a discourse marker. You bring in your complex sentences and the rest of them. They are very, very important. I said, however, gems and jewelry credits gotten from the trade had a negative slope. You see negative slope now. I did not say, when I was introducing the body paragraph 2, I did not say that the body paragraph 2 had a negative slope, because they didn't have a negative slope except that of gems and jewelry. All of that had a positive slope, but I didn't describe them as having positive slope, because if I had used it as a discourse marker or as a word to bring in the body paragraph 2, it means that it will affect even the gems which had a negative slope. So I only said that agricultural textile only appreciated. As you can see, they appreciated. But however, jewelry and gems credits gotten from the trade had a negative slope, with the pay in 2015 recording above 40 billion. Watch the graph. 40 billion. If you watch the graph, the black bar is above 40. I said recording above 40 billion. Above 40 billion, and slightly above the same 40 billion in 2016. I said recording above recording above 40 billion and slightly above that in 2016, while having just 5.18% differential value. I think without wasting your time, I've been able to discuss this task 1, but just stick to my channel and watch other videos, the writing, the reading. You have a lot to enjoy on my platform. Thank you and God bless.